Hey, what's up, man? Today we're going to talk about the 4 sexist marriage types and the number one thing that you have to do to fix it. Let's get it. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the 4 sexist marriage types, and if you stay around to the end, we'll go over the number one thing that you have to do to fix it. But before we start all of that, before we get into all of that, there's 2 main questions that you may have that we should go over before we start. So the first one is, can you even fix a sexist marriage? And then number 2, isn't this a sign that she's cheating on you? So I won't lie, yeah, if the sex frequency has dropped down, it is a good indicator that something may be going on, although it is not always the case. There's medical situations, there's psychological situations. You could be making some of the mistakes that we're about to go over right now. So it's not always that, it's not always the case. And so yes, it is possible to fix a sexist marriage depending on which kind of sexist marriage you're dealing with. All right. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the first one. So the first sexist marriage type that you need to be aware of is the Platonic partnership. All right. So this is where on the surface, the marriage looks good. Outside looking in, this looks like a good marriage. You guys rarely fight. And if you do fight, it's nothing like huge, nothing crazy. But overall, you guys communicate well. You guys work well together. You guys could probably manage your finances and kids together. So overall, this marriage on the surface looks good. Now, I said on the surface. If you look deeper, you'll realize that the intimacy is just not there. So usually it's the guy who's frustrated with this. Although I have seen situations and have had women reach out to me for help, but I help guys, so that's what we want to focus on. Usually it's the guy that's frustrated, and the way he usually goes about this is communicating with her, like trying to talk her, into more sex. That doesn't make sense. Don't do that. Don't bring it up at all. Just go ahead and skip ahead and tell you not to do that. But that's usually the situation. Everything looks good on the outside, hardly any sex on the inside. Now, the prognosis for these, meaning like, can you fix these situations? The answer is yes, you can fix these situations, and they're the easiest of all the sexist marriages to fix. And that's the reason why is usually because there was already a good amount of attraction there for you. It's just maybe some tweaks that you need to make, and you'll learn how to fix them as you go through this. So if you're in a situation, it's the best of all the 4 sexist marriages. No sexist marriage is a good thing, but of the 4 sexist marriages, this is the best situation to be in. It's the easiest one to fix. All right, the second sexist marriage type that I'm gonna bring up is the mommy wife. This situation is where the wife is leading her husband. The key indicator here, the key area where she's going to lead you probably is in your career. She's going to make suggestions to you about things you could do to advance your career. I'm not saying those things are wrong. What I'm saying is you as the man should be leading your career, or if you want help from her, you bring it up to her. But in a mommy wife situation, she'll just go ahead and, reach out to people for you and say, hey, such and such has an interview for you, or such and such says an opening here. Another key indicator is that she gives you suggestions and she expects you to do those things. Again, not telling you not to take suggestions from your wife. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if she gives you suggestions and she's, expecting you to do those things, that is a mommy wife situation. All right. Now, the prognosis for these are not as good as a platonic partnership, but I have seen these situations get fixed. Usually these situations happen from a high school sweetheart kind of thing. So, the guy and, you guys met young, you got married young, and for some reason her career or financial, her income far outpaced yours for some reason, and she's waiting for you to catch up, wanting you to catch up. And that's why she's doing some of these things. And also feeling entitled to lead you in other areas because she makes more than you. Or another situation, but these guys probably won't be dealing with a sexist marriage. If the woman already makes a lot and she goes for a guy that she finds more attractive, like a younger guy or something like that, I mean, it's obvious she's not gonna you're not gonna be dealing with a lack of desire. So these guys aren't watching this video. You're probably the high school sweetheart, or maybe you got together, you was making more than her or equal to her, and then eventually she started outpacing you. So that's where you'll deal with this situation. The third kind of sexless marriage is the minefield marriage. All right, this again is not as good as a platonic partnership, but it is fixable. In this situation, the wife is leading her husband with her emotions. She's controlling him with her emotions. So for example, she'll sick you on people. So if someone made her mad or something like that, she'll sick you on them. If, you know, she wants you to do something and you don't do it, she'll give you the silent treatment, or she'll flat out just get angry with you. And you'll see the severity of the minefield marriage. It's a big range there. So you'll have where she's just angry at you, giving you the silent treatment. But I've also seen, you know, wives just full blown putting their hands on the husband, throwing stuff at the husband, screaming at the husband, yelling at the husband. You know, if you're dealing with that stuff, you're in a minefield marriage. All right. Now, you can fix these, but it all depends on how much you allowed her to walk all over you and, you know, blow up on you. If you was just the guy that maybe was getting yelled at a little bit, or you guys were going back and forth a bit, you know, more likely you have not lost the respect needed to, you know, keep that attraction going. If you are the guy that's getting hit and all of that, you know, less likely to fix. So it all really depends on, you know, what you're dealing with, what kind of minefield marriage you're dealing with. And that's the case for everything that I'm going over. Every situation is different and unique. All right. Another thing I'm going to bring up, you should have a warning here. If you're in a minefield marriage, you understand if you're in a minefield marriage, you know exactly what I'm saying. Her response to the tactics you're going to learn is going to be very unpredictable. Okay. So I'm just putting it out there that, you know, you can implement this stuff and, you know, do it the way I'm telling you to do it. But her response to these things can be very unpredictable. I've seen the sex pick up in 5-7 days in a minefield marriage, but I've also seen the wife blow up on the guy and things got worse for him and he doesn't even want to continue with coaching because of that. So it all depends on, you know, your wife, and you know your wife best. Okay. So everything that you learn, not just watching me, but watching anyone on YouTube or on TikTok or wherever, any advice you're getting, you need to tailor that to your situation. All right. Everything is case by case. You need to tell her everything you hear to your situation. Right? The fourth and final sexless marriage type is called the sponsor monster. All right. This is the worst one. This is the worst situation to be in, even worse than a minefield marriage. And the reason why is because she really only looks at you for your provision. All right. You do not have to be a 6-figure earner to be in a sponsor monster situation. Okay. You can make $50,000 a year and be in a sponsor monster situation as long as she's really there just for what you're providing for her. All right. The reason why these situations are very difficult and very bad is because she only looks at you for your provision. All right. She does not look at you as someone that she's actually attracted to. All right. Another thing to understand about the sponsor monster situation is that it's usually coupled with minefield marriage. So that's how she gets you to overextend yourself financially. So for example, she wants you to buy something. You're like, we don't have enough money for that. She'll blow up on you to make it happen. All right. So that's how it's coupled. And usually with all of these things I'm going over, you're not just going to have a pure platonic partnership, a pure minefield marriage. There's going to be symptoms of each one in your situation. Each one is unique. However, there is usually a primary one of these four that you can say, okay, I have a this or I have a that when you're dealing with a sexless marriage. All right. Now, the prognosis for this one is bad. I've never seen it fixed. Okay. Been coaching guys for a little bit now, and I've never seen a sponsor monster situation fixed. And again, the reason is because she looks at you for your provision. You start implementing the tactics I'm telling you to implement, she's gonna look at you like you crazy because she's only there because of your provision. She doesn't really have the respect for you. That being said, I'm not saying it's impossible, okay? So, you know your situation better. If you want to try it, if you want to implement some of the stuff and see, if it works, that's up to you. All right. I've just never seen it done. Okay. All right, now, the number one thing that you have to do to start fixing your sexless marriage. All right. But before we get to that, if you like this video, if you found value in the video, learned something new, go ahead and hit like down there, help me out. But also help yourself out and subscribe so that way you get these videos I'm going to be putting out for you and, really learn how to implement things that's going to fix the situation for you. All right, the number one thing that you have to do to fix your sexless marriage is call out the BS. I understand you don't know what that means. I understand you don't know how to do it. And that's why I put together a video for you to break down exactly what I'm saying and exactly how to do it. If that video is available, you can click on it. It's going to come up right here. So go ahead, check that out, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.